Today's drink of the day is, these are some tips and tricks in order to make them feel loved. Like, if you don't have anything nice to say, just shut the fuck up.
Is your time and attention? Won't you give some of it to me?
You noticed. Thank you.
I've been lonely lately.
I love you.
I've been feeling neglected.
I really do. Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another Tell Me More. Today we are starting a semi-series talking about the 5 love languages. If you're not familiar with the 5 love languages, there are 5 love languages. It is words of affirmation, gifts, quality time, acts of service, and physical touch. Those are the 5 love languages, and basically what that means, if you haven't heard of it before, which I'm pretty sure at this point, if you're around your 20s, you've probably heard it, because that's probably when I heard about it for the first time. I think maybe I heard about it in my like late teens after high school, but like during high school I had no idea. But I'm sure if you're around my age, you've definitely heard about it. But essentially what these 5 love languages are is how you give and receive love. So out of all the 5 things that I've named out, some people feel more loved when their loved ones give them gifts, or when they give you words of affirmation, or it can be anything, you know, and it falls into that category, and that is how you feel appreciated and loved. A lot of the times it is in a romantic relationship, but I totally believe that it's also in any type of relationship, whether it's platonic or romantic. I think it also falls into the category of family and friends and all of the above. So for the next 5 Tell Me Mores, we are going to cover each individual love language, and we are going to start off with my favorite one today, and that is because that is the highest percentage for me. I will leave the quiz down in the descriptions if you would like to take the quiz. I think the best is to do it alone. You can think of your romantic partner, or you can think of your friends or family, or just in general how you love to be loved, and answer the questions. And as you answer the questions, you will slowly develop kind of like an understanding of, oh, like, I know what I like. I know I don't like this one. I know I like this one. And I think it also helps you understand how you give your love as well. So today we are going to talk about words of affirmation. It is my favorite one. I got the highest. I think I got like 37%. I am big on words of affirmation. I also have some notes here. I went through, and I want to give a shout out. It was a subscriber that gave me the idea. I love it when you guys give me ideas, because sometimes I definitely struggle with coming up with topics for Tell Me More. Tell Me More, obviously you guys know that it's about the community. It's about you and I having a connection, and what you guys want to hear and what you guys want to talk about. I feel the most connected to you guys, and that is what means the most to me, so that is all that matters. So I thought when the subscriber said you should do 5 love languages, I literally was like, that is the most genius idea I have ever heard. So I started a file in my computer, and I have all of the information. I've been going through articles, so I have some great examples. I'm also going to talk about my personal experiences with you guys. I literally have 3 pages of notes to go in with you guys. Today's drink of the day is water. Your girl has a stomach bug, so no alcohol. I can barely keep down food right now. It's not digesting properly, so we're just gonna have good old water, because water's good for you. Maybe you should put down your drink and have some water, no? Anyways, cheers to you guys. Let's go. Okay, first things first. If you are words of affirmation, if that is how you receive love, or if that is how your partner, or if that's how your friend or a family member or whomever you're thinking of, this is how they receive love. This is how they feel warm and cozy and loved and appreciated and seen, right? First things first, words of affirmation. Actions do not speak louder than words. That is so not true. Actions don't mean diddly squat shit. Just kidding. Maybe not diddly squat shit, but words definitely trump over any type of action. I think the best feeling of words of affirmation and the whole purpose of it is just wanting to hear people appreciate us. And I don't know why or what comes of love languages. I don't know why it starts this way. I don't know why we are the way we are. I don't know why words of affirmation is the way I am. It could be an inner child healing thing. Like if I reach back into my past childhood trauma, I can understand. I come from a very traditional Asian family, and words of affirmation is no such thing. There is no such thing as words of affirmation. I would like to think that Asian families usually are acts of service. They feed you, right? They take care of you. They make sure you're well fed, you're taken care of. You have clothes, you have a house, you have a roof over your head, right? Words of affirmation is like nothing. They like don't really know how to do it. They kind of like, you want and I love you? Like that's completely foreign to them. And so maybe that's why words of affirmation mean so much to me, because I wasn't given a lot of words of affirmation and little things, you know, like you're doing a great job in school, or you look pretty today, or hey, thank you for cleaning your room before I asked you to, things like that. And you know what? I'm gonna say this disclaimer. Everyone loves all 5 of the love languages. I think every single person definitely loves receiving all of those 5 things. However, there's definitely one that triumphs the other for sure. If you get an equal score for all 5 of them, I think that's really cool. We all definitely want all those 5 things. I always do this. I get really hot in the middle of filming, so I'm just gonna roll up my sleeves because it's getting real serious. Okay, so I'm gonna go into specific facts about someone who likes words of affirmation, and that is their love languages. So one thing being, unsolicited compliments are like the best thing. We didn't expect it, but you said it. We weren't thinking it, nothing. It's not like I got really pretty and I wore a cute outfit and did my makeup and then you called me pretty. No, it wasn't that. It was just, I was doing something nonchalantly, like totally normal, like everyday, normal, la-di-da thing, and you randomly were like, oh my gosh, you look so pretty. Oh my god, I would faint. Like, that's insane. Sorry, I scared you. And as much as it's the regular basic, I love yous, you're doing a great job, I appreciate you, it's a lot of it is like descriptive things, very specific things. We are very detail oriented. We watch, and I'm gonna keep saying we because it's my biggest love language and I was biased, so I chose it first. But, you know, it's a big deal for us. We watch people and we soak up like all this information about people and make sure that we always ask them how their day is, or ask them about something that they said a couple months ago and we want an update on them. We want to make people feel special. So when people do it for us, it's like the biggest deal. We also love hearing about things that you specifically like about us. And maybe I can kind of understand why it sounds a little bit conceited maybe right now, but it just genuinely makes us feel so loved and seen and heard, and it's a different type of feeling. It doesn't feed our ego. I mean, I could see why it would for some people, but for me especially, it's not like that. It's just me personally. I feel like I'm like, oh, you see me, you saw my efforts, you know who I am, you appreciate me, you really see me, and I feel heard. I'm not, you know, like I don't feel like a ghost living outside of my body. And I think because my biggest love language is words of affirmation, I definitely spend time making sure that I give affirmations out as well. My biggest thing is I love paying attention to detail. Paying attention to detail and complimenting them on it later, or bringing it up later. Making sure that people feel heard, and making sure people feel like, oh my gosh, they relate to me, or oh my gosh, they're so sweet for catching up with me, and things like that. And that means the world to me. You know, if someone remembered something about what I said like 2 weeks ago and they just want an update and they want to see, you know, you feel heard. You're like, oh, okay, thanks for thinking about me. Like I was in the back of your mind, you know. That's rare. A big thing about words of affirmation is the purpose of it is to boost self-confidence. When people describe me or compliment me or just thank me or just little things about me, I feel like wow, like I did what I needed to do. Like I knew I was a good person. It's just the reassurance. And it's not that I need that in order to live, but it feels good. Why do we give gifts? Why do we tell people I love you, you know? As much as we want to, it's also really, really good to hear for myself. The biggest thing about words of affirmation is you see them. You notice them. It's to give the person the feeling of, hey, I know you're there and I love you for what you are and who you are. But you physically, verbally have to say it. And that's the point. It's words of affirmation, reminding them why. And I understand why it could be a chore for some of you. And I think it's very important that we all learn your love languages, what is important to you for your partner, because that way you understand what they need and what they expect and what makes them feel loved. And that's the whole point of a relationship, whether that's a friendship or a romantic relationship or with your family. You need to learn how to love someone. You don't just grow up and go, okay, you probably like words of affirmation just like me. No, because what if I end up meeting someone, or like my best friend? My best friend is hands down acts of service. She loves it when I do acts of service for her. Actually, I don't know if that's about me. I would think so. That's like her main. But like she loves when her husband does acts of service, right? That's her biggest thing. But it's, for me, it's words of affirmation. But really, she doesn't give a shit about words of affirmation because she does that for herself. And that's fine. And that's fine. Everybody has a different expectation for their love and what they want others to do for them or what they do for others. So I read an article, and it was one of the best articles I've read, and it went so deep into words of affirmation and learning about it and what it means and your tips and tricks and what to avoid and all these things. So I wrote down some of the tips that I thought just meant a lot as someone who loves words of affirmation, and I wanted to share it with you guys as well. I will link the article down below because I think it's such a great read, and if you are very interested in learning how to love your partner or your friends properly, how they would want to be loved, because it's really not about you. It's about how they want to be loved and how they want to be seen. So I'll link that down below. So one of the things I read that caught my eye, and I was very shocked. I was like, oh, I guess that could be, you know, a troublesome idea. And it's learning to teach your partner or friends how to give you the love that you want or deserve, right? And that's simply just explaining to them, one, you like words of affirmation, you know, I feel good when you compliment me. And that's when they do compliment you. You easily just go, oh, thank you. That compliment really means a lot to me. Or I love it when you give me a compliment because it means so much to me and I really need it. You know, things like that. You need to, it's kind of like when you give a dog a treat. I hate to use this example, but it's kind of right. When you give a dog a treat, you are giving them positive affirmation, right? Is that the term that I'm looking for? Maybe not. But anyways, you know what I mean. You're giving them positive reinforcements. They're like, oh, when I sit and you give me a treat, I did the right thing. It's like kind of like that in a sense. When your friend or your loved one says, oh, you look really good in that shirt, be like, oh, I really appreciate that, you know? I really appreciate it when you tell me and you're open about certain things because it makes me feel good. Thank you, I really appreciate it. It's really important that you tell them, because if you don't, then they'll just be like, oh, then it doesn't mean anything to them. My compliment didn't mean anything, so why continue to do it? Now, for those of you who are giving words of affirmation to someone you love, maybe your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your best friend, or your mom or dad or cousin, whomever you want, receives love with words of affirmation. Say they say, oh yeah, my love language is words of affirmation. These are some tips and tricks in order to make them feel loved. Your girl is thirsty. Wow, I didn't know that I was gonna have this much fun talking about 5 love languages, but it's actually so fun. First one, be authentic. Be authentic. We know when someone's bullshitting. So just, if you don't want to give the compliment, just don't do it, because it's not, it doesn't feel any better for us to hear it if you don't even want to say it. So 1, be authentic. 2, be empathetic. The best you can do is to put yourself in someone else's shoe and just really feel how that would make you feel. If you were in their shoes, if you were experiencing what they were experiencing, how would you feel? Really connect with emotions. You have to have that in order to at least kind of give them the words of affirmation that they want. And I understand that that can be hard because sometimes you don't experience the same things as others. There's a lot of things that people, I think as humans, us literally, we experience a lot together. You are never really alone. A lot of people in this world experience the same things, but at the same time, there's also a lot of things that I won't get to experience. Like, I won't understand being in an abusive relationship. As of now, you know? I don't know what it's like to be in a divorced family. I don't know what it's like being estranged from my brother. Things like that. There's certain things that I won't understand. But literally trying to take myself out of my body and into their mindset and into their shoes and just really understanding how that would make me feel if it was my life, that's the biggest thing. Just recognizing how they feel. Even just explaining to them, like, you know what, I'm so sorry. I don't know how that feels, but I'm here for you. And you're doing such an amazing job. You're so strong. I hope that if this ever happened to me, I was as strong as you. It's little things like that. Just making sure that they feel like they're heard and they feel like you really just love them. You really care for them. The easiest one is just showing appreciation, saying thank yous, I love yous, complimenting, I don't know, if someone made you a meal, say thank you, that was amazing. You're such a good cook, or wow, I think this is your best dish yet. Little things mean a lot. Thank you for cleaning the dishes. Thank you for doing this. And it's like something that they didn't think you noticed, but you said it to them and they're like, oh, you noticed, thank you. Oh my gosh, like, wow, thank you. It's a big deal. When someone who wants words of affirmation finally goes notice, they're like, oh my God, you noticed? Thanks. One of the biggest obvious things is saying I love you. I feel like, and I know like we all say I love you, just kind of like, we just throw it around, you know, like it's no big deal, whatever, right? But I actually feel like if you take the time, just a moment of your day and really express like, hey, I really love you. I really appreciate you. I want you to know that, like, I love you. I love you. I really do. I love you. Little things are also like post-it notes. Just writing post-it notes in little places. If you're having a hard time with your wife, I don't know, or even your husband, it doesn't have to just be the wife. But say you're gone for the weekend and you're not going to be able to be there to give them words of affirmation. Put post-it notes around the house. I love you. Put it on the mirror. You look absolutely amazing. Little things. Perfect. Easy peasy, and they will feel so appreciated because you not only took the time, but you actually, well, I hope you mean those words because they should be meant, you know, obviously. Second to last thing on tips of giving words of affirmation is pointing out their strengths. I think that's something that's very big for me because sometimes I forget how strong I am, or you know, what I'm going through right now, like, is just nothing compared to what I've already been through. And being able to tell me how much I've grown or how strong I am, or, you know, things like that just means so much to me because it's like, I feel seen and I feel heard. And I feel like I keep saying that throughout this whole episode. And it's because that's truly how, at least for me, that's how I want to feel, and that's how I feel loved, when someone notices my strengths and what I'm going through and how strong I am, and just it makes me feel even stronger. So the last thing is, I was very surprised when I read it. I was reading the article and I was writing my notes, and when I saw this one, I was like, oh wow, I didn't even realize this was a type of love language, or this was a specific detail that I need in my life and how I expect my friends and hopefully my loved one will talk about me. And it's talking to people about you. It's like shouting you out. It's like when you're at a dinner party. Say I am with my boyfriend and we're at a dinner party and he's hanging out with his friends and I'm hanging out with my friends, or his friend's friend, or whatever. You know what? He's with people and I'm not with him, but I hear him, right? And he's talking and I physically, verbally hear him like, oh yeah, Michelle makes like the best mashed potatoes. Like, it's literally like, I can't get enough of it. Like, it's the most amazing thing ever. You guys have to try. It's like, oh, Thank you. You're talking about me to other people. You're showing me off without showing me off. You're explaining to people what they're missing out because I'm amazing to you. What I did, that little small thing, was amazing to you, and you're telling people that's how important it is to you. It makes me feel like I'm something on your mind. I'm something important to you. I was important enough for you to have to say that to your friends, because you didn't have to say that. Like, why was that even of importance at all? But you did, and that's what's special. So those are some of the tips on how to give words of affirmation. If your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your best friend, your friends, whomever in your life, any type of relationship you have, if their love language is words of affirmation, those are just easy ways to show them that you love them and you care for them, and it'll boost their confidence. It'll boost their self-love. It truly means the world for someone who does like words of affirmation. Now I'm gonna end with some things you have to avoid, because as much as it is easy, well, I don't want to say it's easy because some people may struggle with it, but as easy as it sounds to just give out compliments, there are some certain things you want to avoid, because naturally, just because you compliment someone doesn't mean that you did it right. Just because you tell someone you love them doesn't mean that you did your job, you know. Honestly, if you're just saying I love you, like, and throwing it out, that doesn't mean like, oh, I tell my girlfriend I love you like every day. I definitely give her words of affirmation. No, that's not true. That's not what I mean. Like, really take the time. And I don't mean like all the freaking time. I get it. Like, our lives are busy. You can't always put Post-it notes around the house. You can't always take the, I get it, life gets in the way, but the trying, just the try, you know, try to love them the way they want to be loved. That is the whole point. First thing is, don't say anything mean or hurtful. Because words mean the most to us, when you say something mean or hurtful, and you have to be careful, because what you think is mean and hurtful could be different from what they think is mean and hurtful. But like, generally, don't say mean or hurtful things. Well, don't say them, period. We really engrave them into our heads. Like, when you say hurtful things to us, like, I take them to the grave. I will remember, and I'll probably hate you for the rest of your life. Or I will probably just, like, kind of feel an ick. Because it's just, like, you did the opposite of what you were supposed to do. And it was an easy job. Like, if you don't have anything nice to say, just shut the fuck up. Sometimes, if you're very sensitive, jokes can come off very harsh as well, because they can come off mean. And if your person doesn't know how to take a joke, that is definitely something that could accidentally come off as a wrong, you know, like, comment. So be careful with your jokes as well. Make sure that you kind of test the waters before you go in and like deep dive and like really hurt their feelings. Try not to manipulate your words. I think manipulation is just mean in general, but obviously with words you have to be very careful. Don't manipulate them. Don't try to, like, you know, we're very good with our words. Hence, we will figure out when you're manipulating us, which leads into your being mean, which means I don't like you. So that kind of happens, and then we you know. Another thing is, no shortcuts expressing your love. Just don't say it. If you don't feel like giving the love that day, if you don't feel like giving words of affirmation, don't half-ass it. Just don't do it. It's fine. We all have off days. You don't have to always say I love you. You don't always have to say, oh my gosh, you look nice. And if you don't, because you're having a bad day, just don't do it. Because if you half-ass it, it hurts more, because then it's like, oh, you don't even mean it. You're just saying it. Just don't say it at all. And then these two last things are probably the most important, and it's probably because for me specifically. Now, all of the other things I've mentioned could hit home for you, but these two things hit home for me the most. It's the most hurtful to me. I've dealt with it with my friends, with guys that I've liked, or my family even, and it's a big deal to me. So one is being overly critical or condescending. Second one is don't withhold kind words as punishment. So I'm gonna go back to the first one, being overly critical, condescending. Just don't make me feel fucking dumb, you know? Like, I'm not stupid. Just because I need you to say that I look pretty, or just because I need you to say thank you for me cooking a meal, doesn't mean I'm stupid. doesn't mean I need it to live either. Like, I don't really need you to fucking say it for me to feel good about myself. So you don't need to get down to the nitty-gritty of why I am this way, or why I need to be better, or, you know, like, don't micro-analyze me, because trust me, I do it myself. Don't you worry about it. I don't need you to criticize me. I already do it. If I wanted you to do it, I would go talk to my grandmother. I don't need you. Just kidding. Love you, Grandma. I saw her today. And going back to the second one, which is the last one, don't withhold kind words as punishment. I think everyone needs to practice giving words of affirmation, but it is the most cruel thing to take away giving compliments and words of affirmation just because you want to punish someone, just because you're mad at someone, just because you have a grudge on someone, or just because they're not important to you, or because you're fighting, or it's just so mean. Just why, you know, it's so mean. And you know what? I also want to make something clear. Words of affirmation is not just saying thank yous and you look pretty. It's bigger deals than that. It's literally being able to see someone struggle with work and being, hey, you're doing an amazing job. I really notice you. I think the biggest thing of words of affirmation is just to verbally say that you notice them. It's us liking and hearing the sound of you say that you notice me, that you see my efforts. That's all it is. I don't even need you to say that I'm doing a good job. I know I'm doing a good job. I just need you to say you notice that I'm working hard. You notice that I'm doing a great job. And that's exactly what I lacked in my family. And I'll give you an example. My family is not words of affirmation. The chances of my family saying I love you is 0 to none. I say it to my mom a lot because I think naturally, because I like words of affirmation, I say it to my mom, and my mom will say it back. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know when the last time I ever said I love you to my dad, and I don't think I've ever heard my dad say I love you to me. And don't feel bad for me, it's totally normal. I know my dad loves me. He's done everything he can for me because he's acts of service. That's his love language. He supports my family. He supports me, and he will do whatever it takes to take care of this family because that's how he shows his love and support. It's a very traditional Asian male situation. But my mom, growing up, she knew educationally, I was not it. I sucked at school. And it wasn't because I literally was stupid. It's because I acted stupid. My mom, of course, knows me as a daughter as much as she could know me. And she knew I was smart. She knew I could have done better in school, of course. Because I could have, but I was a lazy motherfucker. So I didn't. And when it came time to nursing, and I haven't deep dived into the whole nursing college era with you guys because it's a very traumatic topic for me to get into, but one day I hope to share it. But anyways, there was one time where I took anatomy in summer, and it was anatomy. Okay, so you guys, it takes 6 weeks to do a normal course in California, at least in university or college, whatever. The college that I attended, it was a 16-week course for anatomy. Okay, I think we took a practicum, which is your big exam, every, like, I want to say maybe 4 weeks or maybe even 2 weeks. I want to say every 4 weeks. I could be wrong, but let's just say it was every 4 weeks. Okay, I took anatomy in a summer course. Summer courses are way shrunken down. It was an 8-week course. I don't know why I ended up taking an anatomy course during the summer. I feel like I was trying to get it done really quickly because I was trying to put in my applications or something. I don't remember. But I ended up taking an anatomy class, lecture and lab for the summer. Which, for summer, obviously, because it's shorter than a regular semester, it gets squished into an 8-week course. 8 is only half of 16. So, that meant there was an exam every, I want to say no, I lied. Anyway, it was just obviously, if you try to do anatomy in 16 weeks and then shrink it down to 8, obviously you're learning a lot more in a shorter amount of time. And it was a lot, right? And for me, it was I loved anatomy. I thought it was great, you know? I memorized a lot. I really worked with my professor. She really taught me how to get my brain to memorizing all these facts and frickin' bones and muscles and all this stuff, right? I ended up with a B in anatomy. I could have gotten an A, but I got a B. And did I try my 1,100% hardest? Maybe not, but I got a B, and it was good. It was good enough for me. I was very happy. And she literally looked at me in the eyes, and the first thing that came out of her mouth was, "That's it?" And I was like, but I did the best that I could for summer. Like, it was hard. I did the best I could. And she was like, "Yeah, but you could have gotten an A." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, but B is good. B is better than C. Like, B is good. And it's an 8-week course." Like, it's good. It was good for me. I felt really good. And she never said, "Good job. Like, I know you worked really hard." And B was a lot. Sure, as a mother, she really, really, really wanted me to get an A, but it was just so mind-blowing in that moment. I was like, you can't just appreciate and tell me that you know I worked hard and that I did a good job. It was just that, and that's what I mean by words of affirmation, you know? It's just being seen for the efforts and all that stuff. And I'm getting very hot because I'm getting very emotional. But that was my example, you know? And it's also like when I had lost weight back in like 2018, when I had lost like 40 to 50 pounds, and like each one of my family members, literally when they saw me after I'd lost weight, the first thing that came out of their mouths were, "Oh, you've been working out, you lost weight." Thank you for telling me the obvious. That's not a compliment. That's just telling me what I already know. And then it was a follow-up with, "Oh, okay, so you're still gonna lose more, right?" Is that your way of telling me I look good? Because I'm confused. What kind of backhanded compliment is that? Are you trying to tell me that I look good, or are you trying to tell me that I look bad? I'm confused. But that's what I mean, to deny someone words of affirmation. It's something. That is all for words of affirmation. I definitely got way, way, way more invested as the video progressed. I hope that today's video taught you guys one thing or two. If you already knew, great, I love it. I think it's really important that you go take the test. I think it's gonna be really fun. If you're in a new relationship, I think it would be fun to take this test. If your partner is skeptical and is like, "Why do we need to take this test?" Just be like, "I wanna love you properly," you know? And if they think it's stupid, then tell them to suck it up and take it anyways. Just kidding. I think it's a great way, just understanding us and understanding someone else. And I think that everyone deserves to be loved the way they want to be loved. And everyone is a little bit different. So go take the test, learn about yourself. If you already know, please leave it down in the comments. I, of course, always want to know whatever topics that you guys want to talk about. This is the topic for the next 5 episodes. So I guess 4 more after this. But after that, I'm going to need another topic to talk about. So please, if you have any ideas, leave them down below. For the subscriber who gave me this idea, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I wouldn't even have thought about it if it wasn't for you. I love you guys. I love your support. I really, really do. It means the world to me. You guys will never know. I feel like when I was growing, I didn't really see it, but I feel like the more I've been growing with you guys, the more I'm just like, you know, without you, I have nothing. There's no purpose to these. So I truly do love you guys. I really, really do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give this video a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.